Hello and welcome back to Anything Can Happen on a Day, the podcast where we talk about anything football related with your hosts Colin and Jordan.
Hello there. Today we're going to be talking about the managerial merry-go-round in the Premier League that's currently going on. Talking about managers that have been sacked, talking about managers that have been recently appointed, and work out basically just what's going on.
Yeah, I mean the biggest topic of this weekend is, if you're watching this hot off the press, is Antonio Conte to Spurs. But I think the first thing we really want to talk about is Nuno. Do you want to take the lead?
The fall of Nuno, yeah. It was a weird appointment in the summer, wasn't it? I think we both questioned it in the initial, at the first podcast that we did about our top four predictions.
I don't think we knew that Nuno was
Nuno was, we did. We briefly touched on it, yeah. I think that's why we kind of didn't really consider them for the top four at all, because I think a bigger appointment would have made us go, oh, maybe they can.
I think it's good that you said it was a weird appointment. I don't think it was more a bad appointment rather than a shocking sacking, if you know what I mean.
Yeah, well, I think they were clutching at straws really, because in the years prior to that, they'd had Pochettino for, I think he came in like 2014, I want to say, had him for, got them to a Champions League final, then went for Mourinho, massive name. It was mental when he went to Spurs. When they got rid of Pochettino, you went, bloody hell, they got rid of Pochettino, but then they bought in Mourinho, and you're like, bloody hell, they bought in Mourinho. It's a massive appointment.
Yeah, it's a massive appointment. I think.
But I think with Nuno, it was a case of they went for Conte, they went for, I think Gattuso was kind of mentioned as well, and maybe a couple of other managers. But I think Nuno was kind of probably not bottom of the list, but he certainly was a surprise candidate for such a big job. I think he was very much out of his depth when he first came in. He had a great start when he beat City on the first day of the season, but I think since then it's just kind of Harry Kane's been misfiring. I don't think that's helping anything. The team's really shoddy as well. Like the defence is it's pretty crap, to be fair.
Even though I did say it was a bad appointment, it's a bad appointment because Jose Mourinho was the last manager to manage Spurs. Because if you think about Pochettino's appointment, Pochettino was, he was an up-and-coming good manager at Southampton, and he came into Tottenham, brought in a load of academy players, and really did transform the club as a whole. I think once you've had Pochettino, who is then considered a really good manager at the helm for such a long time, and then you have Jose Mourinho, you don't then make another appointment, which is Nuno. You go a step ahead of Jose Mourinho. So I think it wasn't the worst appointment in the world. Obviously, Daniel Levy, saw something in Nuno, and we all did, because he actually did a really good job at Wolves, and
that's the point.
It was really good, and obviously a lot of clubs do that anyway. They see a coach who's not like world-class proven yet, but you can see that they've clearly got the talent, the skills, and it just didn't work out for Spurs. And I don't think it wasn't a terrible appointment, but it wasn't a great appointment. You just don't go for somebody like an up-and-coming manager when you've especially had Jose Mourinho there. The calibre of players also improved as well, so the Pochettino appointment made sense at the time. But when you have stars like Sonny, and you've got Kane, and you've got Moura, those are really the top class players there. You want somebody who can utilise those talents, because when you start breaking down why Nuno got sacked, when you look at Spurs play, yes, they were really good defensively, but like you said, Kane wasn't firing on any cylinders. There was no attacking plan. They were just generally very, very disjointed. There was no attacking plan. Their defensive plan was just.
I kind of disagree.
Help me out here, Jordan.
Yeah, I think I unfortunately disagree with a lot of what you're saying. I don't think they were good defensively. I think they shipped goals so easily against Arsenal, so easily against United. I think what happened for Nuno was there was a lot of pressure on him. Even let's say Harry Kane, there's no signs of him leaving, it's still a massive role to fill, because even though Mourinho, it didn't work out for him, it is a big name. It is a big shoes to fill. But I think what you're saying is they should have gone for a bigger name. Who do you go for realistically? Man United are struggling to kind of for names for managers at the moment, and we're Man Manchester United. Whereas Spurs, yes, they had Mourinho, but Mourinho was quite a shock when they got him. It was a massive, massive name to get. There's no one bigger than Mourinho that Spurs could realistically get. So you go for someone like Nuno. They went for Conte, they went for Gattuso. That's what I was saying. They did try, but they just didn't work out.
I think. Sorry.
Yeah, just one more thing. I think the thing is the issue with Nuno is he kind of not fooled everyone, but the first game against City, they were sublime. They were defensively great. They looked awesome. They made City look really, really average, and you kind of thought, maybe this is going to work out for Nuno. You kind of had thoughts about that, but I think that eventually he just got found out, and now Harry Kane hasn't been scoring. Whether that's because of Nuno's tactics or Harry Kane has got fed up with Spurs, but yeah, that's where they're at the moment, and that's why they got rid of him. But I think it was very much an appointment there where they were clutching at straws, didn't know who to replace him with. They knew Mourinho couldn't go any longer, but yeah. I
just wanted to add that with the fiasco of Kane wanting to leave at the end of the season, I think a bigger name would have been able to handle such a situation better than Nuno.
Would
have, because it just seemed like, see, if I was Nuno, I would have benched Kane until I've got confirmation that he's really going to put everything into the team. Whereas it just seemed like he had to play Kane because they're...
Who do you play instead of Kane?
So you just won't play with him because first couple of games...
Who do you play instead? So you can easily say that, but who do you play instead?
Well, yeah, I mean, I can say that now. I'd play Son up front and I'd just play someone else on the left.
So you're gonna...
I would leave him out. Yeah.
So you bench your best player.
Well,
as a new manager,
he's not clearly that good because what has he scored? 1 goal.
Yeah, but okay, let's disregard the last 2 months. Maybe take into consideration the 5 years before that.
But what I'm saying is, with Nuno at the helm, which is the season so far,
it's a very radical thing to do, though, and may have been even worse. Who knows?
And that's my opinion. I mean, if I was the manager, if I was a bigger name. Yeah, maybe not. Maybe I'd like to think that with Antonio Conte's appointment, he will not be afraid to bench someone, no matter who they are, if they haven't given their full commitment to the club. And I think after the whole fiasco, because we don't know what goes on behind the scenes, but Daniel Levy forcing him to stay, and then he's got to play. He's not going to perform to the best of his ability, and Nuno just going, you're going to have to play because you're our best player, whereas. I'm not here. We all have, hindsight is 20/20, and I can say, that Nuno should have done that. But the reality is, he didn't really have an attacking plan or really a defensive plan. Now that you think about it, the first couple of games, it was like, yes, they can defend, but where are the goals? And then their defense just went as well. So here we are.
I think there's been a bit of a cloud over Tottenham for the last few months. I think since things started to go south under Mourinho. But I don't know. I feel like any manager, if you're a Tottenham fan, and I know you've kind of elaborated on your point, but you can't come into a new club and not play your best player. It's not going to happen. And imagine being a Spurs fan, you're probably not that excited about Nuno being your new manager, and then he drops Kane for the first game. It doesn't make sense. So you have to play him. It hasn't worked out. I think that he obviously had a plan. It's a massive job for him. It's a massive step, but. I don't know.
Sometimes you can't do what the fans want. They're fans, not managers.
Yeah, I know.
I understand. It's like the whole United situation. It's like do what the fans want, and then eventually you're just not gonna. But like with Mourinho, how United was so defensive. It's like listen to the fans, play more attacking football, and then they just get absolutely ripped apart. And it's like.
I
yes,
agree.
Of course, the fans would want Harry Kane to play. They're your best player, but you played Harry Kane and you didn't get the results. So should he have tried something else? Should he have been a little bit more brutal? Tough love.
Like you say, with hindsight, yeah. But I think a Tottenham fan calling for Sanchez to play instead of Dyer is a bit different to saying everyone knows that Harry Kane is on his day the best striker in the league, or one of the best strikers in the league. He's at a club where world-class players are few and far between, so he has to play. I just think that Harry Kane's probably never going to be committed to Tottenham unless they start winning trophies. That is what he wants to do. So unless that happens soon, which is going to be difficult considering the class in the other Premier League, the other Premier League top kind of 5, 6, 7 clubs, it's going to be very hard to do. So I think until he gets his move away, he's not going to put in 100% effort at Spurs. But I get what you mean. I think it will take a more authoritative manager to, like Conte will get better out of Kane than.
Yeah.
But the thing is, in Mourinho's first few kind of months at Spurs, he got Harry Kane like. What's the quote from the Spurs documentary? It's like, I'm going to make you explode or something. Sounds quite sexual now, doesn't it? But I think that with Harry Kane, I think he really took to Mourinho. And imagine being Harry Kane. Your manager for majority of your career has been either the England manager Gareth Southgate or Pochettino, and then Mourinho comes in, who would have been a massive manager when Harry Kane was younger. Watching him win stuff at Chelsea, at Inter Milan, at Real Madrid, and then he's come in to manage him. It would have been a massive motivation for Harry Kane. He doesn't have the same effect with Nuno. He wanted to leave. He didn't get his move. He was unhappy. Obviously, things have turned sour. But I think
at the end of the day, he's still paying him, so he's still got to put in some sort of effort.
Well, yeah, obviously. Yeah. But I think that he didn't. I think the nail was already in the coffin before Nuno had his first game, to be fair.
Yeah.
I think it was always going to be very, very, very difficult. But apparently he's got £12 million for compensation for getting sacked.
Yeah, well.
That's a great redundancy package.
Yeah, get me into Tottenham Joe and sack me after a month. Let's talk about Conte, because he is the authoritative manager that Tottenham need. He's a world-class manager as well. Serial winner. Do you think he's a good fit at Tottenham?
He's a good fit, and he's the best they can get. And it's a really good acquisition. I think that for Tottenham, it's the same caliber. Like, I put Conte up there with like Pochettino and Mourinho in that kind of bracket, whereas obviously Nuno is very much more at the moment. Wolves was a good place for him. That's probably his level. Maybe a little bit, I don't know, probably Wolves, Everton kind of bracket. But Conte's been at Chelsea. He's been with the Italy national team.
Inter.
He's been with Inter. He's won the title in 2 years at Chelsea. He won the title,
and
he won the FA Cup as well.
And
yeah,
he then obviously won Serie A.
And he won the Premier League comfortably that year. And that was Guardiola's first. He was brilliant that year, and obviously changed.
And Chelsea were
Chelsea's
10th
style
the season before. So
yeah, that was a bit of a weird season, wasn't it? That's when Mourinho got sacked halfway through.
Yes.
And they brought in, was it Hiddink came back and finished the year?
Yes.
He's a good manager.
I like Hiddink.
He was good.
Nice character.
Won the FA Cup in 2009 after Scolari got sacked midway through. That's good knowledge. Just spitting facts. But what are your thoughts on Conte? Obviously, being a Chelsea fan, you've probably a lot more.
I mean, he's a fantastic manager. He,
good memories.
If I'm being completely honest, I wish he stayed, because, and I always like to refer back to this point where it was a time when Conte wanted certain players, and whether it was Abramovich or Marina Granovskaya didn't agree with his transfer with what he wanted. I think that year we got Giroud and Barkley. So 2016-17.
Right, his first year, yeah.
And we finished 5th. Won the FA Cup, and halfway through the season he went from those lovely Italian suits to the Chelsea tracksuit, and that was a statement from Conte. He said, well, I'm not a manager then, am I? If I can't tell you what players I want for my system, then I'm just a coach. I'll just work with the players I have. And he still managed to finish 5th, which is not great considering that you've just won the...
Was that his second season?
That was his second season.
18, yeah.
Well, he was only there for 2 seasons.
Yeah.
Won the FA Cup and got rid of him. And I just think maybe if we got the players he wanted.
He didn't really, looking back now, I mean, my memory doesn't serve me very well for this period, but I think that there wasn't many massive acquisitions. Like, he was working with like Fabregas and Costa had already been bought in by Mourinho.
Yeah.
He was using players like, I feel like Victor Moses had a run in that team, didn't he, when they were going free?
He was a right wing back.
Yeah. And obviously Hazard was already there. Marcus Alonso was... He was
Costa
working
left,
with what he had.
And then what happened was he burned a bridge with Diego Costa.
Did Costa leave while he was there? Or
no,
did he,
so
around the same time?
I think what happened was Costa wanted to go to China for loads of money.
Yeah.
And I think that pissed off Conte a little bit.
Yeah.
And he was like, you're not playing again. So we brought in Morata, who was a complete flop.
Oh, Morata was bad.
And I just don't think things went...
Oh, yeah, Morata.
Just things didn't go really well. And then we got rid of him. And then there was a huge lawsuit and he obviously wanted his compensation. Anyway, it was just all really messy.
Yeah.
His time at Chelsea was good. It was sort of bittersweet. And that's what Spurs fans are going to have to go through now. You need to back Conte. You know he's not afraid to walk away from.
He'll get more time than Nuno as well.
He'll get more time, but looking at, is Conte a good fit for Spurs? Now, Spurs, let's be honest, they don't like to throw money. They're a very, very conservative spending team. Conte wants the players that he wants, and if he can't get them, he'll walk away from the job. Just like he walked away from Inter after winning the league for them. It's either a really good appointment because Spurs are finally going to change their ways and back the manager and give him the funds they need, or it's another recipe for disaster. Just another disaster waiting to happen. And Spurs will become the new Chelsea in the revolving door policy for managers.
Yeah, I've just got this image in my head now of Conte like not rereading the contracts when he signed, and he goes into the office like, "Oh, Dan, can I have like £100 million to sign this player?" And it's like, "No, you can't have any money." It's like, "Oh, I'm just going to leave then." That'd be quite funny. I think.
Or Dan just going, "It's not that easy, Antonio."
Yeah. What about Ricky Lambert? What about him? Get him for £4 million. I think that with Conte, he'll get more time simply because obviously he's a serial winner, whereas Nuno, it was always everyone was a bit on edge about Nuno going to the club, and I think he probably felt
it was
a
a
lot of
desperate
pressure.
appointment for sure. Yeah.
Yeah. But I think with Conte, obviously he did, in my opinion, wonders at Chelsea, and I agree that he shouldn't have been sacked. But obviously, I don't really know about the ongoings that you've mentioned there, because I'm not a Chelsea. I don't really follow Chelsea, obviously, as much as you do. I think he went to Inter Milan and won a league that's been dominated by one team for years, and to obviously Juventus, and then took Inter to win the title. Got realistically got Lukaku's career back on track, because obviously at United
Absolutely.
had become a shadow of himself. He tried to. He went for him, didn't he, that summer? But obviously they got Morata instead. Lukaku came to United, but he took. Obviously, Lukaku went to Inter and he exploded again, and that's what's helped get him the move to Chelsea, because, you know, he was a bit of a shadow of himself when he left United, and now he's revitalised his career in Italy. He's got players like Martinez playing well for Inter Milan. That was a very, very solid team.
Gave Ashley Young a lifeline.
Ashley Young, there was another player. There was a few ex-Prem players he took back. Was Moses doing something there? Oh, no, it wasn't Moses. But it was Ashley Young, which was mental. There's another player that he took, I want to say, from Chelsea or...
It was from Man United, wasn't it?
Some reject. Oh, Darmian, I want to say.
Was it Darmian?
And then I want to say someone else as well. I can't remember. It doesn't really matter. But
he's got a system and it works.
He's got a system and it works. It works in Italy. Like, I think it was, you know, Ashley Young can do bits for Inter Milan. Ashley Young's got a Serie A winners medal. I find that quite hard to believe. I mean, it definitely is true, but it just seems quite weird. But I think he'll be a success there. I think he'll get Harry Kane the best out of him and Son. Maybe even get Dele Alli's career back on track. If someone could do that, if someone can get Ali's career back on track, that'd be quite impressive. And then, I feel like fantastic appointment, and I'm looking forward to seeing how well he does.
Absolutely, I really miss watching him on the sidelines. He was one of those very entertaining managers to watch, just consistently shouting at his team, and just very involved. And I think Spurs have got, When's
the next Spurs-Chelsea game? That'd be interesting.
Yeah, exactly. I think if you're a Spurs fan, you're very excited, but at the same time, you're really worried about if this is going to work. You've just had a few managerial appointments that haven't worked out, but again, I think it really does fall down to whether Daniel Levy will throw money at.
It's exciting anyway. It's
very exciting.
It's more exciting than Nuno. I think it was probably
And it probably didn't. It wasn't cheap to get him in.
No, definitely not.
in the hot seat. It's one of those things. But I think we should move on to another manager that is in the limelight right now.
Yeah,
and it's I'll let you introduce him, Jordan.
So obviously at the moment, Ole Gunnar Solskjaer, Manchester United manager,
OGS.
Very much OGS. I hate it when you say that so much. just say Solskjaer. Sounds like a child. So Solskjaer, obviously even more so today, is obviously his side has lost 2-0 to City at home. I think at the start of the season, there was a massive amount of pressure on Solskjaer to kick on and go and compete for the title this year. He brought in Ronaldo, he brought in Varane, and brought in Sancho, 3 players that we all expected to take Man United
to the next level.
And also, we were all unaware at the start of the season how Liverpool were going to respond to last year. Obviously, City didn't end up signing a striker. Are Chelsea going to be able to carry on the progress that they made under Tuchel last year? So there were all these questions, and it was, can Man United now pip in and get there with the new acquisitions? Now, We hammered Leeds first day of the season. Obviously, Leeds haven't had a great season so far. And then, had a good, relatively good start. And we started dropping points at home to Villa. We started dropping points at home to Everton. We got, hammered by Liverpool, beaten by City at home today. And the cracks have started to show. And as the season's gone on, it's gone, well, we might not win the title this year, but if we can get top 2. We might not get top 2 this year, but if we can get top 4. And now there's questions over top 4. And I think that there wasn't as much pressure last year because we didn't bring in as good. I think we only brought in Van der Beek the summer before that, and it was probably less pressure on
Cavani.
Oh no, that was the year before. No, yeah, we brought in Cavani. Sorry, we did bring in a few players. We brought in Diallo as well at Tellez. So not the best transfer window in the world, but to bring in. Ronaldo, Varane, Sancho, massive signings. Sancho hasn't worked out. I think the point that everyone keeps coming back to at the moment, Man United fans and kind of neutrals alike, is that we've got the players, but they're not playing like a team. And I think tactically...
Well, that comes down to Ole Gunnar Solskjaer,
that's what I'm saying.
It?
But, and I think tactically, I think Solskjaer is very much out of his depth now. He's done an amazing job at United. He came in with a team full of Phil Joneses, Darmians, Smallings, players like that who shouldn't have been anywhere near that Man United team at this stage. Got rid of all of them, brought in attacking young players, helped the careers of players like Greenwood, Rashford, come on, McTominay. And now we've got a team that could realistically compete, but it's got the wrong man at the helm. And it's really hard to say that as a United fan, but I think he is just... I'd love it to work out, and I still do. But I think at the moment, the thing that's keeping him in the job is A, I don't know if we'd sack him halfway through a season, I'm not sure. And B, now Conte has gone to Spurs.
Who else is there?
Who do you get? I think what's helping Solskjaer massively is a shortage of replacements. Pochettino, who you would have took a couple of years ago, he's just gone PSG. He's managing Messi. He's not going to leave there. Hansi Flick, obviously Germany manager. Nagelsmann has gone to Bayern Munich. Zidane, I think Zidane and Rodgers are the favourites at the bookies to come in. But would Rodgers leave? Leicester?
I don't think Rodgers would leave.
I don't think
he'd leave. And
Allegri
went back to Juventus. He was out of a job for a while.
And I think players like managers like Graham Potter have been thrown around. Is he going to be another Nuno for Spurs?
That'd be like a Nuno appointment. I was about to say that.
But
as well,
I think we have to stick with Solskjaer and see what the market's saying at the end of the season, and then just get Klopp in.
I do actually agree with you. I think he's done a good job. It's not a great job, but he's done a good job stabilising the club because, when he took over from Jose Mourinho, I think ever since Fergie left, it's just never been the same. And I know you being a fan, you'd be able to say that straight away.
State the obvious, yeah.
It's not been the same, but
yeah.
I was about to say OGS,
yeah.
but Ole Gunnar Solskjaer has given you that bit of hope that actually you can get there again. He's finished second once.
Yeah,
it was last season. He finished
second last season. Third
the season before. So there is one or two things missing. I think that's what he's highlighted in the United or in his United career. Like he's made it obvious that he's ironed all the creases out, and now he's highlighted one thing, and that thing is himself. And that's why I think he's done a great job, because he's not a world-class manager. He is a legend for the club. He's gone to the club. He's fixed up all those background issues, and he's highlighted the one problem, which is himself. He just can't take that group of players who are all stars, most of them, and win the title. He just doesn't have that tactical awareness about him.
Yeah.
He is the problem that the club has found. Which is a bit of a conundrum, really. I
know what you mean. I think for Solskjaer, I think we'll look back in years to come and go, he did an amazing job. I think because of the results that he's getting.
He's done a great job.
But I think amazing, because I think he's laid the foundations, and now I have a nice image in my head of Solskjaer kind of having a conversation with the board and going, okay, yeah, I've taken this squad as far as I can. He's built an amazing team. He's the man that signed Ronaldo. He's the man that Greenwood's developed so well under. He's the man that's brought in Cavani, Maguire, all these players. Luke Shaw's developed massively.
Luke Shaw.
So I think he's done a terrific job. I think when Mourinho left, Man United were very, 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 it was a bad place to be. Players weren't playing well. Mourinho, Pogba was falling out of him, burning bridges left, right and centre. So he's created a nice team and a nice ethos now. I just think it needs a new direction for that team. But I think, it will never be a point where like fans are really calling for, like, obviously Ole out, but like they won't like completely go, he needs to go because of what he's done for the club as a manager, but obviously also as a player. So I think it will be a nice, maybe he leaves at the end of the season, we get top 4, and then we bring in a Zidane, or then we, whoever it is that comes in. But I think what doesn't help are the expectations of the Man United fans. Obviously, since Fergie left, we're verging on 10 years, 8 years it's been now. We were expected to win the Premier League and compete in the Champions League every season without fail, which we 9 times out of 10 did on both fronts. Now, and we were the best team in the league, I mean, up there with Chelsea, by a mile. Now we have to, and City. Now we have to kind of acknowledge that City are a much better team with a much better manager. Liverpool are a much better team with a much better manager. Chelsea are a better, probably just about a better team with a better manager. So it's harder now. It's harder to win the league. It's not a 2-horse race anymore. There's 4 or 5 teams competing for the league every year. So we have to acknowledge that and manage our expectations. But yeah, if we got in as a Dan, if we got in a better manager, then we would be much better off. And I think that's what it comes down to, tactics. We're not playing well as a team, so you need to look at the manager, because the players are there, the talent is there, we're just not winning. But also as well, one final point is that it's fine to lose at home to Man City. It's fine to lose at home to Liverpool. That's fine. They're very good teams. It's losing 5-0. It's losing 2-0 and having like 1-2 shots on target. That's the issue.
Yeah, absolutely agree. And I think it does come down to the question of who can you replace him with. There's just no one there. And if you could pick any one manager in the world right now, like, who would you have? And why? What type of style do United need? Just somebody with some sort of tactical nous?
Realistically, or
who
like,
would you like?
Yeah, but does it have to be realistic? So I would say Guardiola, but that
no.
But
But okay,
I might go realistic.
No, you can say Guardiola because you want United to play a particular brand of football.
Yeah, but you can ask any manager that, and they'll say just Klopp and Guardiola. So I'm gonna discount. I'm gonna answer like, who realistically do I think we can get in? And
so realistically who? But then obviously we know that you'd like Pep Guardiola.
Well, yeah, but if you ask any football fan, they'll say Guardiola or Klopp realistically. So I think for me, like, I would say probably at the end of the season, it would be good if we can get Zidane or Pochettino, because Pochettino, he doesn't seem to be having the best time in France from the outside looking in. Maybe that's just me being ignorant. But I think Zidane, he's managed Ronaldo. He's managed Ronaldo to 3 Champions League titles as well. He is, he's only done it at one club, but imagine Zidane coming in and players like Greenwood, players like Rashford, players like, Fernandes, and being like, our new manager is Zinedine Zidane, a player they've watched as a kid, dominate at Juventus, Madrid, and for France. That would be massive, and it'd be nice to have him in the Prem. Hansi Flick's another one that I really, really would love at United, but obviously he's just taken the Germany job. So I think it is just very much. I feel like a few years ago there was a surplus of managers available. In the same summer, Mourinho went to United, Guardiola went to City, and Conte went to Chelsea, and Klopp went to Liverpool like a few months before. That's mental. Whereas now, I think we are just clutching at straws for managers. And that's why, Nuno went to Spurs over the summer. Same issue. But who do you think would... I mean, I can ask you the same questions. Who do you think would improve United, or who do you think would be the best fit? But the chances are Klopp or Guardiola would be the best fit. I
think Zidane's a good shout. Purely to the star basis and absolutely the fact that you've mentioned that he's managed big personalities before, especially Ronaldo.
Ramos,
he's used to big personalities. So yeah, I mean, with Manchester United, you're in a, I would say you're in a good position. Your club is stable. I know you've just lost 5-0 to Liverpool, which is obviously, nobody wants to lose 5-0. Nobody wants to lose 5-0 to Liverpool, but you know what the problem is. There's no ambiguity about whether if you got rid of Ole Gunnar Solskjaer if there would be another problem. You've ironed out the creases. When Mourinho was there, there was too many bridges being burnt. There was just bad culture in the club. Like, they fixed all of that now, so you know what the problem is. And I think once you know what the problem is, you can actually go and find the solution.
Yeah.
So stick with him if you're a United fan. That's what I would say. Stick with him.
Oh, I'm a massive advocate for him staying until the end of the
year.
Yeah. I think it'd be awful if
just
we got
give him
rid
a
of
break, really. I mean, anyone who's taken you'd have to be a brave man to take the United job. And I joke about this, but I think it's it's a harder job than being the president of the United States.
Yeah.
You'll age faster for sure.
Yeah. Obama aged. Have you seen pictures of Obama before and after presidency?
Oh, yeah.
He aged.
I think
Trump looked younger
that was 8
somehow.
years. See, that was a period of 8 years, whereas Ole Gunnar Solskjaer has aged more than that in the space of 2.
Yeah, that's true.
So,
I feel like Trump somehow looks younger.
He looks younger.
Just sucking the blood of like young children or something like that. That's how he keeps his life force. Get
him in United.
Trump to United. That'd be mental. I reckon he'd do a better job, new manager effect. Awful. I'm going to stop talking about Donald Trump now. But yeah, I think that's pretty much all managers covered. Kind of the merry-go-round that's going on at the moment. Again, something that we can revisit if
it'd be interesting to see at the end of the year how these managers have performed, especially with Conte, especially with to see if
Conte and Solskjaer, basically, just from this point on, seeing how Conte does it at Spurs and seeing if Ole can steer the wheel back to the right direction. That was nice, wasn't it?
Yeah,
obviously Ole's at the wheel, steer the wheel, but quite like that.
Ole driver Solskjaer.
Yeah.
I'll stop. So that's it for today. So thank you for tuning in, guys. As usual, we would love to hear your thoughts and your comments. Pop them down below. If you'd like to hear more podcasts, give us a like and a subscribe. It would really help the algorithm. And click that bell icon if you'd like to follow us and hear or just be alerted when we release new podcasts. Anything to add?
Yeah, we are very tired today, and I feel like it's coming across in our podcast. But keep with us because it will get better. We're going to start taking uppers, and
we'll try and be more consistent because I mean, logistically there are some issues, but
they didn't hear our sub story. And it's not the X Factor.
It was good to be transparent to the fans.
No,
it's good for them to get a little bit of a glimpse of who we are and how these are done. But anyway, enough about that. So good
night, God bless.
Good night,
Take
God
care.
bless.